peace in Palestine.
Is there a different sense to the way that people see immigrants coming to the UK than Mexicans going to the US? The difference between asylum seeker, war-torn country, on a boat, there's this sort of vision of deprivation, of poverty, of need. It's almost like a charity that needs to be given to these people, whereas you don't have this quite the same disparity between Mexico and the US, or at least supposed disparity between quality of life in Mexico and in the US. So I don't know, it seems less philanthropic to give that stuff away. Does that make sense?
I know what you mean. I mean, I always say, and it's important to make this point, right? It's like, I understand why people are coming across the channel, in search of a better life. Like, I wouldn't want to stay in France either. A joke I've made many times. And my point being, by the time these people have got here, they've been through quite a lot of countries where they are perfectly safe. If they are in fact genuine asylum seekers, as opposed to just economic migrants. And again, don't blame people for wanting a better life. In the same way that I don't blame people for wanting a bigger house. I just don't want them breaking into my house because my house is better than theirs. That's quite a reasonable point.
Next.
He makes a point here, which I'm going to relate to something else, which I think is slightly more relevant. I think beyond xenophobia, and remembering that America is a country of immigrants, we're not talking about the UK. UK is not a country of immigrants. We're talking about America. I think the main problem and the main obstacles that people face is some element of integration in terms of just speaking the language, for goodness sake, but also about a class etiquette. And I know you don't necessarily have class in the States, but somebody who can present themselves well, be non-threatening, non-dangerous, non-lazy, hard-working, who cracks on in any country, then you're probably going to have been considered to integrate. Now, ironically, if we bring that back to the UK, that's not the discussion of what we're hearing. We're hearing about people who want handouts, and that may be handouts in terms of money, that may be handouts in terms of opportunities, and they're not necessarily the best. Handouts in terms of housing, they're looking on people endlessly because of the items that they've got. And people are talking about asylum seekers having a phone. Now, ironically, they were actually given those phones not from the public purse, but from a charity. Of course, facts don't really apply, but they're looking on people enviously. Whereas the system in this country is not about an entitlement mindset. We need to get rid of it. And we really don't have any time for it. It's about self-effort in order to get to where you want to get to in a market economy. It's about bootstraps. It's really not about handouts. So that applies equally to the British as much as anybody else who comes here. It's all by the same rules. So anybody who comes here, they go through the Home Office, and the Home Office says they're happy enough for them to be here, and they keep to themselves, or they integrate as much as they want, but they crack on trying to contribute and improve their lives and improve the lives of the economy and everybody else by default. I think we all agree, crack on. You know the drill. The full video that I've just talked about is going to be round about here towards the bottom of the screen if you're on a mobile. Otherwise, the link's going to be in the description or the comments.